Hello and welcome to the Cosmos video channel. We are an online store specializing in cosplay costumes. You are now listening to our original novel, The Extraordinary Werewolf. If you have any interest in cosplay outfits, you can contact us at cosmos.com. Now, let's begin the story. Previously, on The Extraordinary Werewolf, Glenn returned to Bayek after securing his hunting rifle and food. On the way, he met a strange silent man named Black Crow and sent him to drop off his groceries. Glenn then rescued an injured woman and realized she was Laila, the daughter of the woman he had just saved. Laila is now determined to visit Bayek to thank her mysterious benefactor. When Glenn arrived at his front door, he took a quick sniff and confirmed that Black Crow had been there. He retrieved the key from beneath a stone and opened his door. The groceries were placed right behind the door. He figured Black Crow hadn't stepped inside, just dropped the items and left immediately. He is certainly a man of simple action, Glenn mused, picking up the bags and entering the house. He needed to figure out how to preserve the boar meat he acquired this morning. Since there were no refrigerators in this world, he decided on the traditional method, smoking the meat. This world seems to have freezing magic. I should look into that sometime. That way, I won't have to worry about food preservation. Glenn let his mind wander as he slowly processed the items in the kitchen. Laila had gone through an unforgettable desperation today. She couldn't imagine facing life without her mother. Thankfully, a kind gentleman had saved her life.
My child, you must properly thank that kind gentleman. In a world like this, people like him are very rare. Mrs. Delisle, Lila's mother, gently patted Lila's hand. I know you are a girl who repays kindness.
Mrs. Delisle, Lila's mother, gently patted Lila's hand.
Yes, Mother, tomorrow I'll find out where Bayek Town is. And if possible, I'll ask my friends to come along. Laila replied softly to her mother.
Laila replied softly to her mother.
That is good. Just be mindful of your manners, and ensure your friends don't do anything that leaves a poor impression.
Don't worry, Mother. They are all very polite people.
While speaking with her mother, Laila instinctively recalled her impression of Glenn. He was a slender young man seemingly not much older than herself. He had a unique composure compared to those around him, his eyes always calm and steady. His clothes were as simple as her own. Yet, this man always made her think of him unconsciously. I just feel like he is different somehow, but what is it? Just as Laila's mind began to drift, her mother's words brought her back.
Perhaps we should consider moving.
Her mother's tired face showed weariness.
Moving again.
Laila found it difficult to accept. She had lived here for several years, made many friends, and knew her neighbors. Moving meant separating from everything familiar. They had already moved twice before this, and each time meant adapting to a new environment. This felt unfair to a 15-year-old girl.
You know, your father found us again. He nearly took my life today. If the police hadn't been patrolling nearby, I don't know what would have happened. Mrs. Delisle gripped Laila's hands, her eyes filled with distress for her daughter.
Mrs. Delisle gripped Laila's hands, her eyes filled with distress for her daughter.
I understand, Mother.
Laila looked at her mother's face, still showing the effects of her injuries, and saw the heartache in her eyes for her. If her mother, the one who was hurt, felt this way, what were her own minor complaints worth? Glenn returned very late yesterday, and combined with the time spent dealing with the kitchen, he didn't wake up until 11 o'clock the next morning. Glenn leaned on the windowsill and called out, "Good neighbor." He rubbed his sleepy eyes and opened the second-floor window. He saw his neighbor, the old man, returning from the direction outside of town, holding a Rottweiler puppy. This old man really loves dogs.
Good neighbor, where did you buy the dog? It looks pretty good.
Hearing such a loud voice on the quiet streets of Bayek Town, the old man jumped in surprise. He glared fiercely at the source of the sound. Seeing it was Glenn, his expression stiffened. He then gave a low humph and ignored him. Glenn smiled, retreated inside and started to wash up. Suddenly remembering something, he whistled out the window. Immediately, a massive beast charged out of the mist in the distance and quickly arrived next to Glenn's house. The beast crouched below, poised for a command, its faintly glowing eyes focused intently.
Go wait in the forest outside the town. If a young girl comes this way, protect her discreetly. Glenn leaned out to instruct.
Glenn leaned out to instruct. The beast seemed to straighten its body, almost saluting, making it feel like it would have responded with "Yes, sir," if it could speak. Then, it bolted out of town like the wind. Today, Glenn planned to reorganize the house's interior, especially the fireplace. Since it was sealed, he couldn't use it for smoking meat, so he had to modify it. Glenn had just begun chipping away at a corner of the brick fireplace when his sensitive ears picked up a strange sound coming from below. He put down his hammer and tapped gently on the floorboards. Thump, thump. After some probing, he found the source of the anomalous sound. Although it was subtle, he had definitely located it. It is hollow underneath. Glenn was surprised. The former homeowner hadn't mentioned that the house had a basement or anything similar. Curiosity winning out, Glenn began searching the house for an entrance. He preferred not to damage his floor unless absolutely necessary. With focused attention, he found a trapdoor hidden beneath a large wooden cabinet in the utility room. The trapdoor was wrapped in rusty iron chains, clearly showing that the person responsible did not want anyone entering the space below. But this was no deterrent for Glenn. He simply used a small amount of his werewolf strength, snapped the chains, and opened the trapdoor. Wooden stairs extended down into the dark. A smell of decay wafted up from below. Glenn, with his sharp sense of smell, frowned, but he wouldn't back down. He found a kerosene lantern in the house, lit it, and carefully descended the wooden stairs. When his feet touched the floor, Glenn's eyes scanned the scene revealed by the lamplight. First, he saw countless mice scurrying into the darkness with tiny squeaks. Next, he saw several antiquated bookshelves, the books on them already badly chewed and dilapidated. On a rotting wooden round table lay scattered objects. Glass-like jars and containers were broken on the floor, their liquid contents spilled. Glenn carefully explored the basement, tutting softly. Finally, he closed the book and complained in a voice only he could hear, "What is this nonsense?" He never imagined there was a place like this beneath his house. He picked up a relatively intact book from the shelf and opened it.
The second substitute of something. Something horror Morgan. Magic seal.
Glenn struggled to read a passage.
What is this nonsense? I can't even understand it.
Finally, he closed the book and complained in a voice only he could hear. He returned the book to the shelf and rummaged through the debris on the round table. It was all sketches, containers, and nothing noteworthy. He continued exploring the basement. Since the space was small, he was quickly done. To Glenn's disappointment, there was virtually nothing of value here. However, he then noticed another door and placed his hopes on what lay behind it. Hopefully, there are some useful things inside. Standing before the door, Glenn took a deep breath. The door was made of dark brown wood with rustic carvings, and the frame was covered in carved runes. Directly above the door was something that looked like a clock, except it had only one hand. The face was divided into 5 zones inscribed with strange symbols, evenly distributed around the plate.